Hey, I'm Jordan with Jordan Plays Blue, and let's talk about some games I played in May 2023. And played a bunch of games, and I don't know. There's always so many games coming out. I've been getting new games. I've been playing a lot of games. I don't think I've missed any game night, so really excited about that. So I got 4 games we're going to talk about. 2 are newer releases, 2 are a little older, I think, but got some good stuff to talk about. Let's get in it. I'm going to start with a brand new one. I don't think it's quite out yet. I think it'll be released Origins. We'll go with that. And this is Xylotar. Xylotar is a trick-taking game from Bezier Games. And it is a redone version of Magic Trick, I believe. Chris Ray designed this, and Magic Trick was released in a very limited capacity, so this is kind of more of a mass market version of that. It's about polar bears playing a guitar made of a xylophone. Theme is a lot of window dressing. Even when you look at the cards, it doesn't. I don't get it, but it's made for some really fantastic artwork on the box. And Xylotar is a pretty standard trick-taking game where you have deck of cards. All the cards have numbers on them and colors on them, but a couple of different wrinkles, of course, as you do. You're going to deal out all the cards, and then you're going to order the cards from highest to lowest, and then you're going to pass them to the player to your left. They're then going to play them face down in front of them, so you have a row of all your cards in front of you, but you don't know what they are. You can see the backs, which are colors, but you don't know what the numbers are. And so part of the game is some deduction about figuring out what cards are in front of you. And I really enjoy that in games like, Silver, Golf, Hungry Monkey. Those are kind of card games that have that kind of element where you're trying to figure out what the cards are in front of you as you're playing the game. But this one has that trick-taking, those trick-taking elements. And so if somebody plays a red card, or let's say an orange card. Somebody plays an orange card, I have to play one of the orange cards in front of me, and maybe my orange card's somewhere in the middle. I flip it over, and it's a 3, but it was somewhere in the middle. So that means all the cards over here are probably pretty low if the one in the middle was a 3. And that doesn't bode well for my high cards either. Or maybe they played a yellow, and I play a yellow off to the left that's on the high number, and it comes out pretty high, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. And so that is, as the game's playing, you're trying to figure out what those numbers are. Also, as the game, it does have some bidding, and in the bidding aspect of it, you're flipping over 2 cards that are consecutive next to each other in your row. You're going to look at them and choose one of those cards to put face up, and the number that is on that card is your bid. I do wish there was maybe a little bit more, agency in how bidding works. Apparently that's more agency than Magic Trick had. So I do commend them for giving you a little bit more choice in the bidding, but it also gives you a little bit of knowledge about the other cards that you have down in there. And you can do that bidding anytime during the round. So after you've collected a couple tricks, or you're a couple tricks in, you're like, I haven't scored any points yet. I'm going to go all the way down here and look at my 0s and 1s and try to go down there. And then you don't lose points for missing your bid. You just don't get, you get 5 bonus points for making your bid exactly. And if you don't, you get 1 point per trick. You don't lose any points, which is really great. So it's not punishing in the way some other trick-taking games are. So Xylotar, I really like this one. This is a really cool take on trick-taking with some of that deduction, but also just plays really simply and smoothly. If you're a fan of like spades or really kind of traditional trick-taking games, this one has a lot of elements to those in a way that, sure, it's got plenty of kind of twists, because like modern trick-taking games do, but it's rooted in something really familiar. So Xylotar, it's a good one. Next up, I got a reprint of an older game, and this is by Allplay from one of their newer Kickstarters, and this is Through the Desert. Through the Desert is a favorite game of mine. I've had an older copy of Through the Desert from Fantasy Flight, I think it was. It was a square yellow box, so whichever one that was. That was the version I had. I think I donated it to my church or to a friend or something like that. So I don't actually own, I don't have a copy anymore. So I was excited to see Allplay brought it back out, and I was excited to see it in action. It has some new modules that I haven't been able to go through all the modules necessarily. I've played the new board. There's 2 boards and maybe one of the other modules, but I haven't played through all of them, so I can't speak to that. But Through the Desert is it's likened to the game Go, which I do think is apt, in which you are trying to control areas of the board. And this one uses a hex. Go uses a grid, a square grid. And Through the Desert, you are having these different groups of camels of different colors. You don't own the color of camels, you own a group of camels of every color. So everybody has a yellow group of camels. Everybody has a purple group of camels, whatever. And so you're creating these groups. You're gonna, on your turn, you place 2 camels. That's it. I can put a camel here, I can put a camel there, as long as they're touching the different parts of the board. So all the classic gameplay is still here. The gameplay is very quickly, you know, it says 45 minutes. I think it's usually closer to a half hour. This is a pretty quick game. And it just had, you know, you get some bonus points for things here and there. You're trying to connect different things on the board, and you get some 5 points for touching oases, things like that. But I think this is a really nice production of it. I think the box is like a ½ inch too thin. Like if the box came up like a little bit more, nobody would notice. And I think it would be a better production, honestly. I also got the upgraded wooden camels. I don't know if they were an upgrade. They were kind of an alternate. I really liked how the screen printed camels looked, and I thought it really had a nice classic look to it. The plastic camels that it's always had, like the pastel ones, are fun and kind of classic and akin to this game. But I liked how the wooden ones looked, so I paid extra money for that. And frankly, I was extremely disappointed in the wooden camels. I thought they look nice, but they're absolutely not functional. Because, like I said before, if I have a group of yellow camels, I have a rider, my blue rider might be on the yellow camel. But from across the board, depending on the angle that my camel is, because these are 2-dimensional screen printed things, I can't tell which yellow camel group is mine, because I can't tell which blasted yellow camel is mine from across the board, because everybody else has yellow camel groups, and it's hard to remember, and it's hard to really see that. Whereas the other ones that had the pastel camels, which I still have, I've swapped it out. It came with the plastic camel, so I'm all fixed up, guys. But you put the pastel camels, and then you put the like brightly colored Fruit Loop little rider on top. Boom, you can always tell which ones are the blue ones, which ones belong to the green player, which ones belong to the gray player. And there's never any issue with that. So that's what I'm going to be playing with. I'm a little disappointed that I paid for like it's not an upgrade, but like an alternate kind of component that I won't be using. But when it's all said and done, this is a classic game. I think the artwork, this is the best artwork that Through the Desert has ever had. And I think the production is solid and goes along with that pretty well. So Through the Desert, I do enjoy it. A couple hang-ups with the production, but ultimately, fantastic game. Right, this one is, I'm going to get a little negative, but not super negative. I do like this one. And this is Seven Wonders Architects. I don't know if I've spoken about this one on in this roundup kind of format, but Seven Wonders Architects, I've actually played it a couple times. I played it a couple times in May. Over Mother's Day weekend. And this is a lighter take on Seven Wonders. I actually played, I think, during month of May, I played Seven Wonders Duel, I played Seven Wonders full game, I think on Board Game Arena, and then also Seven Wonders Architects. So I've played all 3 versions this month, and I would rank them as this. I would rank Seven Wonders Duel, maybe 1A, and then 1B would be Seven Wonders. I like them both in different areas, but I think they're both wonderful. And then Seven Wonders Architects is easily last place for us. This is a really like watered down version of Seven Wonders. I think it kind of does capitalize and captures what the Seven Wonders system does. Take some cards, put them out, build a little bit of a tableau. It removes some of the engine building that Seven Wonders has with your resources, because your resource Collection in Seven Wonders is typically permanent. Architects, you are spending resources, almost like in Catan, you collect the resources and spend them, or pretty much any game that has resources. It keeps the military. Science is handled a little differently. You're collecting sets of them and then turning them in for these tokens. Each wonder has some special abilities as you're building the wonder. It has the wonders are really cool. It has these cardboard pieces that you're kind of building and flipping up as the game goes on. And then the production is wonderful. Everything comes in these really great, here I'll pull one out, all these really great kind of game tray things. So if I am the Halicarnassus, I take this, and it has my wonder down here and all the cards for that player up there. The card drafting is different. You're not picking and packing cards. You have a deck in the middle of the table that's face down, and then you have 2 decks between you and your neighbors, and those cards are face up. So you always have the option of 2 face up cards or 1 face down card, and you just take 1 card and play it immediately. We find that this one is long. It feels long for what it is. Like, it says 25 minutes on the box. I don't think it is 25 minutes because you're actually having to take turns. Whereas Seven Wonders, you can play Seven Wonders original in a very quick time frame because everybody's playing it simultaneously. Where this one, you're actually taking turns. And yes, the turns should be quick. But if you have any players at the table who are new to it or who are trying to figure things out, it's going to take what feels like a very long time. And with that downtime, it's not a highly strategic game where you're like thinking about what you're going to do on your next turn. You're just waiting around to be like, all right, I get one of these 2 cards, I'm going to take this one. You know, you're not doing a ton there. So I think it's a solid game. I just don't know if it's necessarily for us or my family any longer. But I think it's solid, and I do recommend it to other people, but maybe not for me anymore. Because it just kind of feels like it drags a bit, whereas the other Seven Wonder games I just feel have just such a richness in what you're trying to collect and what you're trying to think about on each turn that's kind of stripped away in this one. So Seven Wonders Architects, there you go. And then the last game, and this is one of, I don't know, I have a hard time calling a game bad, because I don't necessarily think this is bad. I think a lot of people have enjoyed this one, but I did not enjoy this at all. My group did not enjoy it, and I frankly don't have any interest in playing it again. So this is a very low-rated game for me. Let's say it's bad. That'll get me the clicks, right? This is Minnow Dice. Minnow Dice is, this is the Korean version. I don't know if there's a US version. This is from Playtee Games. This is a trick-taking game in which you're using dice in place of cards. And so you have all these colored dice. You're going to reach into a bag, collect the dice. You have them behind a screen. And the game's played over 8 rounds, I believe. So the first round, you pick 1 die. Second round, you're going to do 2 dice, 3 dice, 4 dice, all the way up to 8 dice. So the first couple rounds, you just don't have a ton of dice. I'm going to reach in the bag, pull a die, put it behind my screen, and then everybody else has to roll, whoever is leading rolls a dice. And then you're supposed to follow suit, right? And you just might not have it. So you're like, the first couple rounds, you just don't have much choice in what die you're going to play. And then whenever you're playing the dice, you actually roll them. Like you would a die. So you're playing a card, let's say, but you don't know what the number is until you roll it. And so I put a red out, and then I roll it, and it comes out a 4. But they had already played a 5. I'm like, crap, now I don't win that because I rolled badly. And then there's also this weird kind of rock, paper, scissors with minotaurs, mermaids, and griffins. But it's a random bag pull. I know card games are typically random because you don't get to pick what cards are in your hand. That's fine. But with the die pull, you're pulling it randomly, but then you also roll it randomly. So you could choose the right die you could choose right, and then you have a bad roll. And then, with all of that being said, at the beginning of each round, you're supposed to bid. How am I supposed to bid if I don't even know what the values of my dice are? So I'm going to say I'm going to bid 2. And then I roll really well and I win 5 tricks that round or something crazy, right? The way scoring works is if I bid 2 and I get 5, I lose 10 points for the difference. So I would lose 30 points. how just because I rolled better than it, there was so much, and there was so much randomness in this game, and it felt like a game that was going to be so interesting using dice in place of cards for a trick-taking game, but there was just so little control over what I had in my hand and what I was playing that I enjoyed my time with my friends, but it was not because of this. So there you go. On that note, I played a lot of great games in May, and I'm going to forget about this one, and it'll go on my shelf to get rid of, and that's okay. We'll move on. There's plenty of other games. There you go, guys. I'm Jordan. Thanks.